Live on YouTube. But you said we not live on Facebook? No, man, we not gonna discount it. So, yeah, you can have some. Not a problem.
Yo, yes. It's in the fridge.
You got a cup like that too?
Yep, it's in there.
We live.
Yo! What up, though, Detroit?
Oh.
Coming to you, Lord. Three Kings. I am Mr. Marcel.
I'm Nolan, my government name.
I'm Black Magic.
Ah, here we go.
Fuck, I'm all way.
Here we go. Here we go.
Hey man, how you just gonna walk off the set?
I ain't
Russell
gonna set the
Simmons?
Black Magic.
Russell Simmons?
I don't know where Nolan went.
Where was that?
In the black, on the dish rack. You know we live, right?
Yeah, we are live. We all the way live, baby.
Y'all ready to go home?
You said,
I'm talking to the dog.
what up, Detroit? As you notice, for some reason we missing one of the three kings. So this is two
Government
Kings live.
cheese. You missing government cheese.
So I want to say hi to those who have joined.
We appreciate y'all. All two of y'all. Spread the word. Share. Like.
We're waiting on Nolan.
Like. That sounds sexy.
My Three Kings is everyday life. I stepped out to go get me something to drink. I was kind of thirsty. We can keep on going. Nolan ain't going nowhere. I hope Black Magic is gone.
There's a really nothing like his.
Well, you know, I ain't got the bougie version.
You forgot your pepper towel. It's the coaster.
So, I got an idea for a topic today. I was thinking about it today, earlier today. It actually came up in a group discussion.
So
that I
that's your
had.
topic. It's whoever you was in the group talking to about. So
Yeah, I said it was a group
you
discussion.
got another group out there that you playing. Y'all don't go Facebook
So-
Live, do y'all?
What we were discussing,
Just ignore what I'm saying.
I'm glad you brought on to that. What we were discussing,
I don't give a. What were you listening, man? Go ahead.
we keep losing members.
Oh no, I was cut out of the picture.
So what we were discussing is the sensitivity of men being open with your feelings.
You know why it's funny that you say that? Because on the way over here, that was kind of on my mind.
You're sensitive?
No, that's you, Black Magic.
More or less what was on my mind was how women, how men treat women where or not it's catered to or invested in whatever the case may be. So that was on my mind. That's interesting that you said that.
So today, let's talk about it. Let's talk about being how men. So one of the things that concerns me is the thought process that men supposed to be the super tough guy, and crying is for babies, and man the hell up, and terms like that. Whereas we're holding in our emotions, which is eating us alive.
Yeah, we did talk about it
What
before.
was I talking
Black
about?
actually cried.
I did not freaking cry.
Black cried, Bernard, Black Magic, one of them motherfuckers cried.
I don't know who he was that day.
Right. I know he is everything.
So we can take it a step further. We can take one of the other topics that we brought up is how a woman can create an environment where the man is comfortable to open it up.
How? You tell.
How can a woman do that?
I don't know. I ain't going.
Here's some suggestions.
You a woman?
Oh,
Because you know we talked about that too.
about me being a woman?
No, I hope we never have to talk about that. Within the whole conversation about men and their emotions and stuff.
Okay, but I'm talking about how because men need to share their emotions, right? Would you agree with that?
I do agree.
So, are you
Anytime it's appropriate.
are you comfortable with just openly sharing your emotions?
Actually, I am.
That's
Now?
Now,
Yeah.
why are you comfortable with that? Is that a maturity thing?
It's a maturity thing, and it's you never want to be in a situation where you stand in front of the judge for domestic violence. But at sometimes, or back then, when I was more concerned with how it would be perceived if I talk openly about my emotions or issues, I'm no longer concerned. I don't give a damn what people think. But back then, I was more concerned with where not people would perceive me as being soft or weak or something like that. Whereas is you're soft or weak if you don't let that tension out verbally, because it could lead to something.
So how can we change that? I love it, baby. Ah,
Jay, stop that crazy thing.
Amen.
I think it's an individual matter as far as change. We can't change what any other man do. We have to focus on ourselves. But being confident in your manhood is still being able to express your emotions. Younger generations per se may pick up on that and adapt to what you're doing more than someone that's older and already set in their ways. Some of the ones that's older and already set in their ways, unfortunately, have already made it to an early grave. Message, yes, I rhyme, because they didn't focus on their emotions, and it will make you stroke out. It will give you a heart attack. It does sometimes lead to depression, EI, or suicide. So we have to focus on thyself and improve yourself, and maybe those out there that are in your surroundings will pick up on that, and then folks in their surroundings will pick up on that, and maybe we'll start a domino effect.
right. So one of the ways I feel is creating a judgment-free. Like right now, as a youth, I know I kept everything on the inside. I did. And then there was the anger outburst where you would get violent and lead to some bad things.
Not you.
Yes, me.
Oh my.
Oh,
Oh, that's about
oh, it was bad. It was bad. It was horrible. So now, like you
ever
said,
raised one of them big ass hands or something?
yeah. So
I would have called her.
I don't have all these scars on my face for nothing. So that's not the topic. So
Didn't
now,
somebody hit you with a shovel or something?
yes, I got hit in the face with a shovel. That's not the topic.
Oh,
Was it a short handle shovel or a long handle? Because you're kind of tall. Let me guess, that's not the topic.
somebody doing?
So as I was saying, I'm like you now. I really don't. They not.
Yeah.
We are live, so I got somebody
So
knocking at the
anything's
door.
possible. Where now is getting up to get iced tea.
Sorry, excuse me.
Hello, Ms. Reed. Hello, Constance. Hello, Jeanette. Are we taking a brief?
Ain't no taking a break.
Break.
So we're talking at this time about men expressing their emotions. What do y'all think about that out there in this world of ours that we got going on? Marcel was talking about as he come running back for those that can see him out the corner over there about how he handled his emotions and things that he been through that led there. Like Get busted in the head with a shovel. Face. Long handle.
He jumped.
So, what I was talking about is possibly creating a safe haven, an environment where opening up is okay. It's not perceived, that perception of being weak, not being a man is erased.
Like,
He's a very menacing guy. I just saw him right across the screen.
Can we focus today, God? Jesus, what is wrong with y'all today?
so you want to start a sensitive man's group where hi, I'm Nolan, aka my government name, and I'm having a sensitive moment, and everybody stand up and clap like,
Hey,
"Hey,
Nolan."
No, that's not it.
It's amazing that I noticed something. When you stood up, you were still on screen.
On screen or on screen? Use that screen.
Do you know what I said?
David Lee called you as a smirk. Your whole
You heard what I said.
still on the screen.
It's amazing how even when you laugh, we still don't see you. Black magic. Your black ass up.
So, Patrice Lopez Stringer, I feel men should be able to show their emotions. It does show, what?
It probably means it doesn't show me. It shows they are human, me and her too. I agree.
And I agree with that, Patrice, but for some reason, in the midst of an argument or a confrontation, the first thing out of a woman's mouth is you weak ass, blah, 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 blah. Most women, let me
Or
say
just the
that.
other day, you was crying like a little bitch.
So,
It always come back to haunt you,
It
if
does.
not at that moment, when she get pissed off about something.
seems to be used as a form of a weapon.
I can agree with that.
Verbal and emotional weapon.
So, what I was saying was, there's also the perception that men don't cry, shouldn't cry. Now, I do remember us talking about that before, because you say you cry all the time.
He sure did say that, Black did. Did you cry today?
No, I didn't cry.
I prayed today. Did you cry today?
I prayed, but I didn't cry today. You know, I almost did. You know, we just passed the anniversary of my father dying. Like, that was weighing heavy on my heart.
I'm sipping my tea.
It was just a couple days ago, so I've been kind of stressed
No,
about that.
21 cent more you could have got in the bar.
No, it was like $1. I wouldn't think about it. I figured they really had it.
So, I don't know, I just feel like we should be more sensitive as a society, be more sensitive to the emotions of a man. If you look how it's portrayed in movies, TV shows, and even music, you're not a real man if you're emotional.
James,
Don't get it twisted.
James
Emotional can get violent.
Oh, mama.
You know,
I hate to,
emotional.
we got
like
quite a few remarks out there. Let's see.
Go to Taylor Martin.
All right, so just we got two Patrices out here. Patrice Reed, I prefer a man who can express themselves. Bottled up emotions can cause catastrophic reactions sometimes. Not sometimes. It ain't sometimes. It's all the time. I hate to hear women say that. I allow my husband to show emotion. It checks my behavior. Okay. All right. And I agree with Marcel. That's a good idea. I always agree with Marcel. Black, you had something you wanted to add? I heard you whispering under your breath.
I said never that.
Some people say, I do feel as if men should be able to express themselves just as females do. I don't think it's right that they're judged or get told to shut up because it's weak or it's not right. There's more to that. I like your train of thought. I don't think a lot of our men would stay out of, I do think a lot of our men would stay out of trouble if they were allowed to open up and express without judgment. I feel as if it'll help them to be able to help them get in tune to their inner selves. Good. Not bad, Kayla Martin, aka my daughter. Good job.
So,
That's the smart side. Let's get that one there.
Amanda said, a man who shows emotion, communicates feeling, is in tune with himself, is far from weak. I can agree with that.
What is it again?
Amanda. A man who shows emotions, communicates his feelings, and is in tune with his feelings, is far from
I
weak.
got a question, like a sidebar. What constitutes a weak man? What is the definition of a weak man? Is it just perception? Is there particular characteristics that make that? Is it one set of things? Is it multiple things?
I don't really think that's
me and you being on the street and we arguing. You call me a weak guy, and I call you a weak guy, whatever. That's bravado. That's like testosterone. That's not definition of. That's not necessarily the definition of a weak man. You know, physical strength, mental strength, emotional strength. I think those are all different things, right?
I don't think there is a such thing as a definition of a weak man. I think it is the man that the woman that the man is dealing with in or the situation that the man is dealing with that emotionally defines that man as weak and that man allowing himself to be defined that way. Like there is no real definition. Let me recap. What defines a weak man? Let's say insecurities and poor self-esteem, low self-esteem. Because if you have those things, anything a person will say to you, most people will tend to cower or tuck tail. So a weak man, technically, or in my opinion, defines himself.
Okay, here's a scenario. You arguing with.
Well, before you get into your scenario, we got some comments out here that we can't ignore. Patrice Reed says, if there was a safe environment created for men to express their feelings, would at some point women be invited to listen or hear?
Depends on the woman.
No.
I think it depends on the woman.
No.
Why
I
can't
think it depends on the woman's relationship to that man.
No.
Or those men.
No.
Why do you say no?
I think that
Anthony,
I think that if there is a group or an environment created, I think if there's a group or environment created, that within that group, things are discussed that would help that man go back and be able to communicate or express their emotions and or feelings to that woman. But again, you said it depends on a woman. A lot of times it's used to. It's something that is held over a man's head. But if
But
within that group,
she just said though. Her point is, okay, I'm giving you this safe environment. Is it no judgment zone, whatever you want to call it. You have this environment where you can be open. Can I be a part of that?
and
again,
you know
for
how
me-
many times in a relationship a woman will come to you or a man will come, mostly women unfortunately, I'm not trying to be chauvinist or whatever, will come and say, just sit down and let's clear the air. And once we clear the air, everything will be great.
I don't think.
And then the volcano erupted.
I think another problem that comes about that is not her.
How come you didn't do? Somebody actually liked what I said. You didn't do that comment.
Because you wouldn't stop talking. Like now. It just cut me off in the middle of the sentence.
That's where I learned that from.
Black. What's his name today?
Magic.
Black Magic. So, what was I saying now? Jesus.
Okay, so here, let me get this scenario.
Stop.
No.
Hold on. Mr. Tree said, I can agree with that. Sort of like EA for men. What's said there stays there. Thank you.
He ain't for me.
No, I can't agree with that. Because I'm feeling like this. No matter what our relationship is, male or female, if I'm coming to you and I'm being confident and I'm sharing my emotions with you, that should not be held over my head. We shouldn't have to start a support group for that.
It was your idea.
Not the support group, that was Patrice's idea.
It was your idea. We should have a group where the men can sit down
I
and
never
express
said
their
that.
feelings and
I never
stand
said
up
that.
and announce who they are and they're feeling.
That was you,
sensitive
sir.
today.
That was you. That was not me. That's when you stood up and never left the camera.
Why you gotta make that face and shit?
Because I'm getting emotional right now.
You need to go to group.
Here's the tissue.
Sure.
So listen, this scenario.
Oh, she said.
We still talking about this one subject. Stop changing the subject.
Y'all cut me off when I was trying to sell my scenario.
Because
Both
we changing
y'all
the subject.
motherfuckers.
You know what? Let's let him talk because it's rare.
I'm not
The
done.
last time we let him talk, he put his foot in his mouth and we had to walk him to his car because he was saying old asshole shit. Stuff. Go ahead though.
I was not. It's not put my foot on.
Can somebody put a spotlight?
Anyway, so here's the scenario. You got
It had nothing to do with what we talking about, though, right?
it's about perception. So
Nothing to do with what we talking about.
we're talking about being sensitive or weak. So it's about perception of that fact. Now, you got a guy and a girl arguing. Maybe boyfriend, girlfriend, baby mama, baby daddy, and it's a crowd gathering around. She antagonizes him, calling him a weak ass, punk ass, all that stuff, pushing on him, all that stuff. Now, if he hits back or pushes back, does that make him a weak man for swinging on her? Or if he backs away, is he a weak man? What point of view do you have? Like, would you see that as being weak because he like walked away?
A real man don't swing on a woman.
I understand that, but other people might.
You asked me what was my point of view.
Okay, but you was looking at me like I was wrong.
Okay,
Like
but
I'm saying,
now
I'm
just like
saying
we made,
perception.
just like the comment was made earlier, what is deemed, quote unquote, deemed or makes you weak? Why do you feel a real man don't swing on a woman? I'm not saying it's right, but how many times you gonna get punched in your face or hit with, punched in your face or stung and backed into a corner,
Or even spit on.
or there's a reaction.
When do abuse become defense? Is basically what you're asking.
Okay, yeah, when does that happen?
No, I'm just smart.
Yes.
It's your bourbon on the table. It will be in a minute, Brian.
We got sticks. No stick.
So was your question asked?
No, I was saying it was cigarette. That's one of my shit.
Why we can't pick our own?
They all the same, except for two.
They're really just not.
So when does emotion become, what, well, say it again, cause
When do emotion become defense?
That was real disrespectful.
We're talking. We're live.
Disrespecting sticks.
if you hit, expect to get hit back. And there is a such thing as a reactional hit.
Now here's something. DMAC97 on Instagram says, what if that man has been guided on how to handle that woman? And that's actually kind of a real life scenario right now.
How do you handle an abusive woman?
What I'm saying in response to what he said.
Me too. How do you handle it?
Finish my damn statement. It's unfortunately a fact of life now that a lot of people have not been raised the way that maybe the three of us have. How to handle a woman, be a gentleman, how to walk away. So that would be an issue, but that doesn't make it right, right?
So how do you handle an abusive woman?
Me? I walk away.
But you know what? Let me see. You know, and see, I be trying not to talk like that. So I'm what's going on? Mr. Tony Adams, don't call him by chicka DJ that. I disagree because at the end of the day, everybody has several personalities within them, whether or not it's been diagnosed or not. There is no in or one way to handle a person, period, but let alone a woman. And there are a lot of men out there that suffers from or are in abusive relationships and don't know how to walk away. Whether or not they're not walking away because it's emotional, whether or not not walking away because of the children, whether or not they're not walking away because it's financial. There are a lot of people, men, that don't know how to walk away from abusive relationships.
So how
But
do you
in
handle
or
an abusive
again,
woman?
I'm coming back to that, sir. But then again, there is, going back to where we started, there is a such thing as a reactional strike. So if you beat my behind,
Is this your
And
law
I-
enforcement training coming up?
and I react, there's a difference between a reaction and
Conscious decision.
a beatdown. But if you have been trained or have matured enough, then you do learn how to walk away, and it don't make you weak if you call the police and you watch her get carried away.
Tony,
But if you
What did he say?
Tony Adams said, if that's the case, you shouldn't hit some of these niggas because they girly for show.
That sounds like something you
He
say.
said,
oh,
here's what
how do you handle an abusive woman?
I started with my daughter. One of the things that I've always told her, if you choose to put your hands on a man, you have to expect for him to put his hands back on you. So your best defense is not to put your hands on that man. That's what I taught her. Did it sink in? I don't know. We'll see. Life will tell, right? In an abusive relationship, like you said, sometimes you may react. Am I wrong for reacting?
No, because you're human and it's an emotion. And that's one of the things that we're focusing on right now is dealing with emotions.
So when does it go from abuse to defense? Because I react and punch her one time, knock her lights out?
Yeah, you're probably going to go to jail.
Exactly. So it's not a reaction.
But
Defense
restraining
is when you're doing something to protect yourself.
Yeah, knocking her out is protecting me.
A strike is
And I don't agree with hitting women.
you're given physical rebuttal to something that has occurred to you.
I'm a Kermit the Frog now.
physical rebuttal.
That's some good ass teeth.
Oh man.
When you keep hitting, you know this. No,
I'm
none of
sorry,
that talk. None of that talk, Tony. You don't talk none of that stuff on this page.
But that's funny.
It is
Patrice
funny.
makes a good point. It's defensive if you kind of react to get them off, to stop the action.
Yeah.
I believe in that. Now, if you keep going,
I mean, but that's
you dropping a 5-piece combo on her.
that's what
It
that's
ain't from
what-
Popeyes.
As long as it ain't on
Right.
7 mile grass.
That's with anything. Even if you get into a fight, the minute you subdue the person, stop.
That's from your law enforcement.
So
training.
D-Mac is on Instagram. D-Mac is on Instagram. He said the first way to handle an abusive woman is through articulation. Signs of abuse will likely surface before the physical action. That is an excellent point.
But it's excellent, but that's what we talked, because we had a show about abuse, and we talked about that as well when it came to women, and we talked about that in relationship in general. You know what you're getting into way before
It gets to the physical.
it gets to that point where not is you get into a relationship and prime example. And
But
it
I
can this
still
could be
feel like women should be taught not to hit men, just like
I
men
get
are
that.
taught.
I get that.
With the
And they're
same
not.
emphasis, though.
But prime example, if and this can go either or way,
if you hit somebody, if you hit somebody, if you hit your mate, if you hit somebody, and they, oh, what have you done? And you say, oh, I'm sorry, baby, I'm sorry, and they accept you back. They accept the fact that you hit them. They have given you a leeway to go further. And that's just not with physical abuse, that's with abuse, period. If you get cussed out from within an inch of your life, you weak ass this, da-da-da-da, so forth and so on.
Because I was in the inch of your life?
Yeah, man, this is women. Dude, y'all know like a mother, women will stab your heart, to stab you to death with their words. And that's why when you start hearing them words, you need to disengage immediately, because women are verbal and men are physical. That's part of the makeup of men and women.
All right, I want to cut you off. I do want to get to these comments out here. We got a nice conversation. A reactionary hit would be a slap back after you've been slapped. But if you slap and then start punching and kicking, then it's abusive. Tony Adams says, real talk. If you don't want to get hit, don't hit. Talking about you won't hit a woman back and mess around and get knocked out. Just so Sonia says, some women knows what button to push. Oh, yes, they do. Can I like, double like, triple like that?
And you know why they know what button to push? Because men have a bad way of displaying their emotions to the wrong woman. But you know they the wrong woman from the get-go, but something about that wrong woman keep you going
That's
back.
deep, Craig.
So, just to recap, this is 3 Kingz Live. We are 3 Kingz Detroit. I am Mr. Marcel.
I'm Nolan, my government name.
Black Magic.
You ever had that one friend that no matter what, they just got it embarrassed you?
I thought about that name all the way here today.
Oh my God, you just started to it.
I was like, what's gonna make them cringe the most today?
And now that you know who he is, feel free to hook up with him, inbox on his page, and he will make sure that your tires are shining.
You trying to. Today's topic started off.
I said I'm Black Magic.
Well, man,
yes.
I don't think
that was in reality today.
I don't think you blew that.
It's a delay.
We was talking about a whole, yeah, okay.
I
So
got fans.
today's topic.
Don't stop, man. Come on, please.
Today's topic started off with men sharing their emotions with their counterparts, their friends, or whoever. Somehow that changed into a group emotional support group, which y'all claim I said, but I never said that. That was Nolan when he stood
Go
up.
back and recap. You'll see where it all started from.
Then
It should be some support
Black
group for our sake.
insisted of going off topic and talking about something else.
Something about shining tires or something.
Yeah, he wanted to shine y'all tires because he's Black Magic.
So real talk, before we, I do a no, I don't.
Thank you.
Tony made another excellent point.
A real woman not try to fight a man. She might react out of hurt, but she really wants you to embrace her. And a man that fights a woman is a lame and needs his ass whipped.
There's a difference between a strength and a physical component.
So
That was what I'm saying. Maybe you could just restrain that person, just hold and grab them.
Once you put your hands on them, it is a form of physical contact. It's not going to be viewed as a restraint. It's going to be
Even if they hit on
as
you,
you have the right to remain silent.
even if they swing on
Anything
you.
you say will and can be used against you.
So you say even if they swing on you, you can hold somebody.
If
back,
they- if that
or you can hold
person-
somebody down to stop them from hurting you or anybody else.
Bill Cosby, man. I wouldn't hold
So
him.
she may perceive that as a violent act towards her, and then it becomes a charge. How you speaking hypothetically?
Well, I'm going to say,
In a real life situation, and I'm pretty sure we all been in physical.
in the majority of any cases out there that comes to physical abuse, it would be beneficial to that man to walk away. You can
because most situations where not the man is in the right because of the double standard out here when it comes to physical abuse, the man is in the wrong, even if he gets his ass.
I don't. I agree with the walk away. That's probably the best thing to do is to walk away. We talking serious, bro.
Okay, I was trying to get back to our lady.
Mr. Quanda says, if she does not want to be hit, then she should not hit. Keep your hands to yourself.
Instagram, where you at?
I lost it.
Okay.
Now I don't have all the comments.
I'm going to stick with the fact I feel like my point was for those who missed it that women, girls, little kids from the small age should be taught not to hit boys, men, teenagers, whatever phase of life you're in. They should be taught not to put their hands on the opposite sex, just like men are taught not to hit a woman. It should go both ways. We shouldn't be hitting each other. But if you do choose to make that decision that I'm going to punch him in the face, you should expect to get hit punched back. Why are you raising your hand?
Because I didn't want to cut you off, because you get emotional. But it was stated earlier, and it goes to what you're saying, is a lot of times you see it coming. So,
That's what told me.
exactly. So if you see it coming, you should abort that situation anyway. If you ever get to the point where you like, I should just go his or her ish out, and you looking at that person, your eye get to twitching because you can't stand them, then ain't no coochie penis that good to stick around. You need to move on because it's a relationship that's headed for destruction.
Yeah. I agree 100%.
I'm starting the group just for you.
We're not starting no group. I did not say start a group.
I don't know.
Truthfully, you as a man should know when the conversation is leaning towards physical, and you should just leave before it gets to that point, even if it's your house. I do agree. And if the man is too heated and don't realize it, then vice versa. The woman see it's going there, abort, get out. Before it gets to that point. A lot of times the verbal goes backwards and forth so long that, again, women are verbal, men are physical. It's the makeup of the character, and a woman can cut a man so hard that it make him do something stupid,
So-
like strike out physically.
Devontae Sanford said, what is this? You want to give him a recap?
Who?
Somebody on Facebook, Devontae Sanford said, what is this? This is Three Kings Live, Detroit. We are in Three Kings, real men, real issues. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
So, would you consider leaving, going to the next room, locking the door? Is that good enough? Or do you have to leave the premises?
It depends on the severity of the argument. Some arguments can cease from a separation via door. Some cease from separation via house.
What if we're in the vehicle?
Patrice said, what happens when you're not allowed to leave?
Oh, same thing.
Sounds like kidnapping to me. If you're not allowed to leave.
Yeah, some of that.
That's a good question. What happens when you're not allowed to leave?
I asked you that. Come on, cop. You.
He's back to cop too. Retired cop.
You gonna answer Patrice's question?
What?
That's a good one. What happens when you're not allowed to leave?
If I'm in a situation, and yep, I did it. If I'm in a situation, let's say, and I'll use the example of the car. We're in the freeway, we're in the car. I think what I would do is, first of all,
get out and walk and get 30,000 steps.
Yep. I would pull over and get out. Oh, I done that.
Yeah.
Tony
Like,
says,
how you get so many
if it
steps?
gets to the point
Oh,
of
yeah.
physical, throw the whole damn relationship in the garbage.
D.
And I
Max
agree.
says, I disagree with you because in my mind it becomes a power struggle. The man should be able to control the narrative of that conversation.
Yeah.
Oh.
That doesn't happen all the
Say
time.
that one more time.
Said, I disagree with leaving because in my mind it becomes a power struggle. That man should be able to control the narrative of that conversation. It's hard. You tried to talk to your wife now before? It's hard, dude.
Not just your wife.
And women, period. Once they get their mind emotionally set on something, dog. Right? I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I can't agree with
Is
that.
that something they taught you in the police academy?
He's a cop.
Retired.
Bernard, you're going in and out. That's the statement that was just made. What the fuck? I'm gonna have to disagree. What was the comment that
They didn't hear
Max
you.
say again?
Yeah, they didn't hear you. So say slowly.
I disagree with leaving because in my mind it becomes a power struggle. That man should be able to control the narrative of that conversation.
Did you guys hear that? Did I get a thumbs up?
I disagree with leaving. It becomes a power struggle. The man should be able to control the narrative of the conversation. I'm gonna have to disagree. And
Feel like you in the game. I disagree.
for $100, I'm gonna have to disagree because it goes back to emotions. Everybody have them, and sometimes your emotions get the best of you, and the conversation starts to go south. So sometimes you need to walk away and regroup.
Patrice said that's an ego thing.
What's an ego thing?
The state, I'm assuming she's talking about the statement that,
That the man should be able to control the narrative.
yeah,
It sound, I can agree with that.
yeah, I'm the man.
A real woman can be talked down. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And she should know when to hush.
Say that again. Sucky, man. Y'all on here
Is
getting
that the same as submitting to your man?
Next week's show. Next week's
Next
show.
week you'll be tuning into Two Kings and in the doghouse.
Damn.
I just asked the question.
We can talk about that. Not today, but we can talk about that. Submit to
Because-
your man.
But does that go both ways?
Huh?
Huh? What?
What?
Do men submit to women?
This is Three Kings.
I'm just
Not Three
asking a
Queens.
question. I'm just asking a question.
Ask the question again, because I missed something.
Don't worry about it. We'll come
Talk
back
about
to
that next week. All right.
Jinx.
I knew somebody.
I was.
And neither was I.
Still got
Quanta said go.
Go where?
Hell no.
Oh no,
She
we know,
is-
that's a whole nother episode.
She ain't submitting to nobody.
She said, hell no.
Liar, that's on fire. So anyhow,
So recap.
this is Three Kings Live. We are Three Kings Detroit. I am Mr. Marcel.
I'm Nolan, my government name, and that is
Black magic.
Every time he says that, I have to pause for a minute, look at the ceiling. There's nothing on the ceiling. I just, for some reason, got to look at the ceiling. Like, it's just real.
and today's topic is
We started off talking about men sharing their feelings with someone in their life and how to create an environment where they're comfortable sharing their feelings. Because we all know mental health is real. That led into
is that like a message?
message.
Anyway, go ahead.
Then that led to the conversation on abusive relationships. How should a man handle an abusive spouse?
Or woman, period. Not necessarily spouse.
It don't have to be in relationships can be defined as friendships, marriage.
Workplace.
Yeah. So
We're dealing with women.
So yeah, they don't have to be a spouse. It can be an abusive relationship, period.
Amanda,
You know what?
Amanda says,
Sequanda.
What is the quando?
that's what your ass is. Amanda said,
Oh,
fair
black
fighting.
man.
Fair fighting. Set some guidelines. If someone feels it's going too far, call a timeout. Pineapples. Safe word, huh? You looking for a safe word. If you're just arguing, you're not getting anywhere, and there's nothing getting resolved. So you want a safe word. There's no such thing as fair fighting. I ain't never been taught that there's such thing as fair fighting.
What's a fair fight?
Shovels.
My bad, dog.
This is like when the screen should go blank and we're pausing for
Like a beep. I checked the
John
first
Nate
one.
Smith said, no, that's not the same thing. So please elaborate on that. While
D-Mac says, I checked the first sign of disrespect. I immediately explained what's acceptable and what's not. Seems like he's not
D-Mac
trying to be
live in
the
a
alpha
little-
male.
D-Mac live in a little house on the prairie situation.
He's trying to be the alpha male in every situation. Like,
Mary, I'm gonna be what's her name? Caroline, I'm gonna be gone for 3 weeks. Kids on you. When I come back, the house better be clean, the dog better be fed, and the cow better be butchered.
I'm sorry, what you said.
I hear what you're saying. He going for the, I mean, I understand what he's saying.
So what's wrong with it? If you understand it, what's wrong with it?
I didn't say
You
you don't
understand
understand
it
it.
and agree with it, or you just understand what he's saying?
I think that it should be. That's part of communication. I think it should be communicated. Now, the tone that I read it in may not be.
What's wrong with being alpha male?
Nothing.
When it comes to a
Then he said, then I stand my ground. I don't engage in any argument. He said, I stand my
Well,
ground.
you said that you trying to be alpha male. Ain't that what he's supposed to do?
Okay, dude. I'm just like,
I'm asking the question.
Anyway, the next comment. Then I stand
So
my
you don't wanna
ground.
talk about it.
I don't engage in any argument with a woman. We are going to have a discussion like adults, and if she is incapable of doing that, then I can't F with her.
So it's either D-Max, way or the highway.
That's what it's talking about. This guy
Again.
in the beginning, he said I'm very alpha. He very what? Very alpha.
I agree with him.
I mean, it's
So
nothing
it's
wrong with
either your
saying
way
you're
or the
alpha.
highway.
No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with my way or the highway. We can come together, we can get together.
As you should if you're in a serious relationship.
Right. But in order to get to that point, you gotta have some ground rules.
Yeah.
You're not gonna come at me in that tone. If you want to accomplish this and move forward, we're gonna talk to each other like adults. I'm not your child. I'm not your baby daddy. I'm not none of those other disrespectful names. I am Mr. Marcel. You gonna respect that.
So baby daddy is disrespectful.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because if the baby
It can
daddy-
be used in a
if baby daddy
disrespectful
is
tone.
disrespectful, then ain't nowhere in the world you should be allowed nobody to call you no nigga.
Well, I'm not a baby daddy, so I don't
We
know.
back. No, we're not. No.
I'm just saying.
I'm not a baby daddy. I don't know.
If baby daddy is disrespectful to you,
It can be used in a disrespectful tone.
Depends on who's standing in the
That's
house.
what I'm saying.
so ain't nowhere in the world you should be letting nobody call you no nigga.
Hey man,
Shut up.
yeah, flashbacks and shit.
I'm just
His
saying.
way or no way, that's messed up. Why do you feel that's messed up, Dequan? Speak on it. Do y'all have guidelines in your relationship?
You should have guidelines in a relationship.
I think that's a trap.
I'm been trapped there. Because I'm not gonna tolerate being yelled at, but I'm not gonna yell. So what I
that's
give
it.
is what I expect back.
Right. So, again, what's wrong with that?
Why you looking at me?
Because you're the one that had a problem with it.
I didn't say I had a problem with it.
Dang, he trying to be alpha
I was reading the comment.
Which is odd because if you're dealing with a woman,
Shouldn't you be alpha male?
He got to fight to be an alpha male. That's a problem.
How many men she got in
I
her life?
disagree with the statement. You assume I was disagreeing with the statement.
Patrice said, I hate those terms, baby daddy, baby mama. I'm not a baby daddy, so I don't know. So I've heard it being used in a derogatory way.
And I've already been using it in terms of endearment or joking. I've heard it be both ways.
I never heard it used as a term of endearment.
I think you know, walk out there like, hey,
Unless
baby
you want to say,
daddy,
hey, I want you to be my baby daddy.
hey, baby daddy, or hey, that's my baby daddy. I can see both of those.
Well, I'm not
What you
sure.
hear again? What you hear? How did they say it? How did they say it? I'm hoping that you're mimicking them when you slurred your word. Hey.
I was trying to impersonate someone who said those words.
Don't try to sound intelligent now.
You trying
I was trying to impersonate
you trying to impersonate a woman? When we start doing that on Three Kings?
Because the relationship goes both ways. If y'all can't talk to each other, then run the hell away.
Considering I got a bad leg, I'm gonna walk away. And I better not get hit in the back of the head. We'll call the police.
You said you can't run.
You said run the hell away, we'll walk away. My knee on that. Oh shit.
Yay, yay!
She's gonna come at towards the
Why you
end
coming
of
at
the
the
show.
end, yay? Where you been? Where you been? And then who? What is wrong with you today? Here come Alexis. Hi, Alexis. For those just tuning in and missed the whole show, I was trying to ignore it. He on one today. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Oh shit!
Shopping.
What you buy us?
For those just tuning in, we are Three Kings Detroit, and this is Three Kings Live. I am Mr. Marcel.
I am Nolan, my government name, and this is
Flat. Three Kings Live Detroit on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Like, follow, share. We appreciate that.
Today we had
a hell of a conversation.
hell of a conversation.
And we appreciate all the input and feedback.
Hell of a conversation. I hate that one of my favorite people missed it. Next time, don't go shopping on Wednesdays.
You can always go back and view.
You always go back and view, and you can always share it and garner more comments. It's up here forever. Always comment on these posts.
You can always share it. And what did you say?
And always comment. Garner more comments.
Going over.
Garden escapes.
What do you got? Garter belts? What are you talking about?
It's popped up on your iPad.
So anyhow, any last words, Mr. Black? I'm Black. I'm not calling you that. I ain't calling you by your stripper name.
Ever.
Nah, Lincoln Jackson joined. Show's over. Rewind.
Harry Weaver, what's up,
That's
bud?
how you do?
Weaver, what up, bro?
That's not how we do the shows over Rewind. We thank everybody for tuning in. If you came late, it's never too late. You can go back and watch it, still give comments, feedback. We do review them and go back and look and respond to that feedback. As we've been doing the last couple of weeks, and apparently we continue to do it. Continue to pray for us. We'll pray for y'all. There's folks out there going through some things, the loss of loved ones sick. They may be sick. We are praying for you. We always keep you in our thoughts and prayers. Like I said, continue to pray for us. We pray for you, Marcel, Mr. Marcel.
So, he pretty much
Covered it all.
covered it all.
Three Kings Detroit.
I thank you. I appreciate you all.
We love you.
And always remember, if you don't have no wipes in your bathroom, you a nasty ass. Flushable wipes are important in every person's life. Flushable wipes matter.
Three Kings, real men,
Real talk.
Real issues.
And we out.
and we out.
Peace, y'all.
Close your eyes.
And this is when the bloopers begin.
So when we get rich, You gonna see some credits running right here. Like,
What is this black magic shit about?
I don't know.
Who says
What you
that?
do?
Alright,
Peace, y'all.
I'm Black Magic. I'm one of the original Chippendales.
I was rejected from the Chippendales. Man, what's wrong with y'all today?
Most of my shirts are black.